Hey, konnichiwa minasan, it's Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse over in Japan. I hope you're good and genki. I am, thank you, surviving the crazy heat and humidity over here in Japan. Right, I've got a review of the amazing Spider-Man, issue 7 of Joe Kelly's run. He's a writer here. We've got John Romita Jr. doing the pencils, Scott Hanna on inks. There are two colorists listed, Marcio Maines and Eric Arciniega. Letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. Not going to mention the editor's name. You know who you are. How low can you go? $4.99 for this, Legacy issue 971. Look at the cover here. The main cover on the left is a John Romita Jr. cover A. Spider-Man fighting Hellgate. That's pretty much the issue. What do you think of this Lee Bermejo Black Cat variant? Pretty cool, pretty sexy. I like Black Cat. Spider-Man's suit. I'm not that keen on the way Bermejo always draws Spider-Man. He looks like, a Halloween costume version. But at least he's got the wrist, the web shooters there showing. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into my spoiler review. Just to warn you, there will be spoilers. A very quick intro, and then we'll go through the issue, talk about some of the art, some of the good points, some of the not so good points, give my score at the end. Okay, please keep watching. Here we go. If you remember at the end of the previous issue, Black Cat and Spidey were about to take out a group of Hobgoblin's goons. And then Hellgate appeared. So we open with Spidey and Black Cat facing the recently materialised Hellgate. Tell you what, he's a big lad. Felicia is surprised to hear that Peter's Spidey sense is not tingling. But then we get this from Joe Kelly, my best mate. But my common sense is freaking out a little. Can I read you a bit more of Joe Kelly's hilarious comedy dialogue? Here we go. Got Spidey saying, "You got the right rooftop? Neither of us door dashed an Elder Scrolls NPC." Hellgate is not amused. This is how he replies. This is his style of talking. It's actually pretty cool. Here we go. Let me just bear with me while I read this out. Hellgate says, "Nicodemu, second of a line to be cursed with a far sight, bade me breach the soul wall and cross the away lands, so that I may parley with you, Prince of Steel Silk. I am the Hellgate." I quite like that, Prince of Steel Silk. I've got to say, that's pretty clever. The rest of it, not so much. So Hellgate's talking about making an alliance with Spidey, the Prince of Steel Silk, as he calls him. Then we get some more, yes folks, more Joe Kelly comedy, in quotation marks, dialogue, including this little beauty. "We're just talking in D&D's, cat. It's all good." No comment. So Spidey's trying to stall Hellgate while he and Black Cat deal with Hobgoblin's minions. Remember them? But Hellgate takes matters into his own hands and performs some kind of jumping energy attack that pretty much destroys the gang. "Your enemies are felled. We will parley now." Spidey goes to check the men, but they're all dead. Now he's angry. "You don't kill people to get someone's attention, you psycho." Spider-Man charges at Hellgate and gets pushed away with extreme prejudice, with what he actually calls a love tap. But don't worry folks, Spidey's okay. A car windscreen breaks his fall or stops his momentum. Just want to comment on the art at this point. I've not been I don't want to make too much of a thing about it, but John Romita Jr., some of the panels are good. For him they're good, but some are very sparse of detail, and we'll see that more later on. But for example, look at this one. What do you make of that car in the top panel? Yeah, okay, anyway, let's keep going. Stay positive, Gray. Okay, next, the scene switches to the Port Authority bus terminal. And do you remember him? It's Hermes Crenshaw. Who? Hear you cry. Yeah, I think he was briefly, he made a brief appearance in the first issue. He was the guy who was investigating that weird cave or mountain or rock out in the desert. I think that's where Hellgate, came in through. Wait a minute, yeah, thinking about it now, that doesn't make sense. How did he suddenly materialize in New York on a rooftop? He made this dramatic entrance through this doorway, some kind of portal within a huge rock. I guess just stop thinking too much, don't ask questions, just keep consuming the content. Apparently he's been trying to call the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, but he keeps having to leave a message. "I'm trying to save the world, madam." After that very brief single-page interlude, we're back with Spidey and Hellgate, and it's one long, huge fight in this issue. "Strike me like you mean it," screams Hellgate. I don't know. It's just making me laugh now. What happened to his like fancy, you know, Thor style "thou art" dialogue?
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
Spidey tries his webbing, his web shooters on Hellgate, sprays it right into his eyes, and then we get my favourite panel in the comic. Here it is. We get Felicia, Black Cat, with a couple of Uzis, just going for it. She starts opening fire. I'm surprised she doesn't hit Spidey as well. What are you doing? Don't fight him! Run! So she's telling Peter to run. Run, Forrest, run! And then we get a Joe Kelly favourite. We get a flashback. No, it's not teenage snarky Peter. He's a bit younger here. He's asking Uncle Ben, how do I know when to fight and when to run? Maybe we should work on both, Peter, says Uncle Ben as he ties boxing gloves to him. Then we get more of the Joe Kelly dialogue for Spider-Man. Smellgate, eyes up here.
You what?
Notice the left bottom panel there. Lack of webbing on Spidey's suit. There's quite a few panels like that where he's just like red and blue. I mean, it's great to see the red and blue suit, but can't you just put the detail in? You know, come on. Then we get our next single page interlude, and it's J. Jonah Jameson. Wonder what he's been doing. He's checking out the newspapers, the few remaining ones that are still published, you know, on paper. He's complaining about people not using the Oxford comma, typos. I like this headline here. It's like, Spider-Boy, no more. I'm actually quite sad about that. That was a pretty decent, fun book. But anyway, Jonah sees a flash in the sky in the distance. And then it's back to the battle, which again, it's still going on and it's getting less and less detailed artistically. Spidey's lost his stripes, his webbing again. He's firing a couple of what appear to be dominoes, is it? I need time to think. Apparently he spent a month's salary making this crazy web weapon which he calls Web Bob-omb. Bob-omb? He fires it at Hellgate. It seems to be working. It hits him. He gets stuck in it. But not for long, folks, as we see Hellgate ripping his way out of this huge bomb or ball of webbing. Then we get another interlude, and I'm not sure what's going on here, but there's a weird-looking figure listening to a recorded message on the phone saying, "And there's Slime doing his thing. You are such a garbage human, Slime." The figure says, "Idiots, another wasted all-nighter." Then we hear what appears to be a police radio saying, "Units, all units to Central Park. Spider-Man spotted engaged with unknown assailant." "Yes," says the mysterious figure, and goes riding off on a moped. Now I'm an idiot, so please let me know who this is if you know, in the comments. Thank you. Catch up with Spidey. He's fighting Hellgate in the park, it appears. Again, he's lost some of his detail on his spider costume. He picks up what he describes as a couple or three huge, what are they, tubs of coolant. The coolant for telecom cables that run beneath the streets. Full of liquid nitrogen. He's swinging them round. He throws them at Hellgate. They hit him, encasing him in what Spidey describes as a frostbite Bob-omb. And then we get this really weird line from Spider-Man. "Suck it, you chaotic evil fart barbarian." It's not even funny. It just sounds nothing like Peter. Anyway, Spidey continues in narration boxes here. "Gotta hurt for a dude who seems to get all his power from a bio furnace. Maybe that's magic where he comes from, but give me the sweet power of science any day." Well, it doesn't keep him cold for long as we see Hellgate here using some kind of fire power, his body glowing with heat. He melts the nitrogen. Can you melt liquid nitrogen? Anyway, he breaks free, and that's where the issue ends. It says to be continued. I wonder if the fight will go on for another issue as well. What do you think? Okay, here are my sharp points for the issue. At least we get a lot of action. It's Spider-Man having a huge fight going through the issue. Nice to see J. Jonah Jameson, however briefly. And yeah, I quite like the Hellgate design, even though, you know, he's a bit of a weird character. We know nothing about him yet, but I like the way that J. Jonah Jameson, John Romita Jr. draws him. Dull points for me. Some of the art unfortunately looks very rushed. It's almost unfinished at times. A lack of detail in backgrounds as well as in Spider-Man's suit. And sometimes we get the little bit of the John Romita Jr.'s big head on a small body. But hey, maybe I'm just being picky. Joe Kelly's dialogue, sometimes it's really unfunny, like almost cringily unfunny. Like some of the lines were, I pointed out earlier, just do not land. It's weird. I don't know where he's getting these ideas or words from. Sometimes it's okay though. I say there are some funny ideas, but yeah, overall, I don't know. It was a bit of a one-note book with some poor moments of humour. So yeah, final thoughts and score. I'm going to go 6 out of 10 for this. Yeah, it might sound a bit harsh, but it doesn't really do anything we've not seen before. And some of the dialogue, as I say, just really took me out of the story. It was very un-Spider-Man-like. And the art too, a little bit rushed at times. So 6 out of 10. How about you? What do you think? There's 2 variant covers here we're looking at. The one on the left is I think it's Leonardo Romero retro variant, very cool. The one on the right with Black Cat Felicia looking very sexy. It's a Dolly variant. Okay, as always, thanks a million for watching. I really enjoyed making this review. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. Do drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the issue. Have I got it all wrong? Is it fantastic? It's kind of split from what I've seen so far, the early reviews on League of Comic Book Geeks. I've only seen, actually there were no reviews yet on CBR. We'll have to see about that later on in the day. Okay, thanks for watching, guys and girls. Hope to see you in a future video. This has been Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse, signing off for the night. Matane.
He swaps his longsword for a Wakizashi, so